Good morning, remote learners. This is Ms. Studer with your Red Fox Report. Look at me. I'm way down here. Look at this trail. Just look at it. Look at it. It's like wicked long. It goes there. It goes there. And it's all made up of these little tiny tracks. So look at how tiny these are. Like, look at that. That's a foot there where my thumb is. That's a foot. Look at those little tiny tracks. And look at that trail it's made. Look at that trail it made. Let's see if I can get you stuck back in there where you were. Maybe not. Nope, gonna have to hold it. That's all right. So, I don't talk about these guys much. Mice are tiny little rodents. They're active all winter. Except for the meadow jumping mouse. It hibernates. It's one of the only two rodents here that are true hibernators. Well, 3 if you include the bat. That's true. There's the bat, the meadow jumping mouse, and the woodchuck. They're the only 3 true hibernators. Everybody else does something different. So you can see these little mice. So mice, have a really high metabolism, meaning they need a lot of food to survive. And so they populate areas that have lots of small seeds and small grasses and small foods that they can eat. So this heath, which we're out on, I'll put you up a little bit so you can see we're still basically out on the heath. I've fallen in a couple of more times, so I've had to really put myself in a more safe place, that's for sure. My feet are getting wet. But I saw this, and I thought this is kind of unusual. I don't usually see such a incredibly marked trail. I mean, yeah, there were a bunch I almost did because there was like one trail going out, one trail going back. But look at this. This is a back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like there must be something good over there, or there must be something good over there to make it worth coming out into this out of cover, into this kind of place over and over and over again. So that's the thing you got to think about. I mean, like, mice are only this big, and they're like food for everything, you know. There are coyote tracks, there's bobcat tracks right over there. There's coyote tracks out here. But this just seems to be like Rodentville. Because there's red squirrel tracks right over there. There's some gray squirrel tracks, a whole bunch of red squirrel tracks, and these incredible mouse trails. So, I don't know. I sometimes think that the smallest things around us and the ones that are more pest-like. Like for me, mice in my house. That's a pest-like experience. Constantly trying to get the mice out of my house. They're constantly creating damage in my house. I don't want them in my house. But out here, they're really, really important. Owls absolutely depend on them. And right now, they're actually at a super disadvantage because we have very little snow. And most of the time, these very small rodents tunnel down under the snow, and it's a lot warmer under there, and it's a lot more protected under there. And like they'd have a tunnel going back and forth here. They wouldn't be out and they wouldn't be as exposed. There'd be a tunnel going from whatever this food source is back and forth. So, you know, when we think about weather and climate and how much snow we're getting, it actually has a huge effect on the wildlife here. For the deer, it makes it a little bit easier for them. For all the small rodents, makes it much more difficult for them. But then the owls are doing great because they can see all of these. Years where we've had heavy snowpack for long periods of time, the owls start to starve. So it's really about that balance. It's really about the balance. And I can see here that this balance is all about going back and forth to food. What's your balance? I don't know. Just gotta find it. Something to think about. That's Ms. Studer with your Red Fox Report.